Level 1. You wake to the mud whispering against your face. Cold bites through the collar of your greatcoat. Dawn is a rumor, a gray that refuses to commit. You taste metal in your mouth. Somewhere a man coughs and doesn't stop. Your hands search for a cigarette that isn't there. Your name is not your name anymore. You're a number, a billet, a breath held between two explosions. You lie still, listening. The trench is a throat. It swallows sound, then spits it out again. Moans, orders, the soft, constant scratching of rats. A candle guttering at your feet throws a single shaky halo on mud-slick sandbags. You remember a kitchen, a mother, a laugh. You let the memories be small so the present can be large. You brace. You are not alone. A mate taps your shoulder. He smells of tea and old smoke. He says simply, "Keep your head down." You nod. You don't know if he is the last to say that today. Level 2. Before dawn, the horizon shudders. A hammering begins. Far first, then nearer. The earth answers with 100 distant coughs. Artillery. The word lives in your bones. It is an animal that never tires. The bombardment rolls like a drum line, intermittent then relentless. Shrapnel spits overhead a metallic rain. You taste grit. Your ears ring. Orders are clipped. Someone laughs too loudly to be true. "Stand easy," someone says, as if the phrase can hold back thunder. You check your rifle, the worn bolt, the dented bayonet. You secure your pack. The porridge in your bowl is cold and watery. Bully beef from a tin sits like a small, betrayed son on a crust of biscuit. You eat because not eating is refusal, and you cannot afford that. Rations are thin. Names for them are thinner. Tea that is mostly water warms nothing but your hands. You think of letters folded in oilskin, somewhere safe, somewhere not. You think of the last letter, "Be brave. Come home when you can." You try to be brave. You stand. The sky lightens enough to see shapes between the smoke. A whistle means move. You shuffle to the parapet. Level 3. Dawn breaks like cracked bone. The no man's land is a seam of churned earth and twisted wire. At 0 hour we go. 0. You feel the word like a pulse. You think of your boyhood field, of sun on wheat. You think, absurdly, that you would rather be there than here. Then the gas bell rings. A shrill cry. You scramble. Brown-green mist creeps along the ground like bad breath. You've seen this in training. Chlorine, thin and cruel. A man close by chokes and falls. He claws at his face with filthy hands. You rip open a piece of your scarf and press it to your mouth. The smoke smells like burning copper. It bites your lungs. Breath is a commodity now. Someone slaps a respirator over his face and laughs like a madman. You breathe through wet fabric. The world filters down to the rag in front of your mouth and the heartbeat in your throat. Level 4. The whistle shrieks. 1,000 men become a single motion. You climb the ladder. Wood hits your knees. Dawn is brutal and clear enough to show every face. You see fear carved into the men around you. You feel fear in your own hands. Cold, steady, precise. You go over the top. The sky smells of broken metal and grass crushed under dozens of feet. You run. Your boots sink in the sucking mud. Wire snaps at your legs. Shouts become a tide around you. The bombardment drops behind you like a closing curtain. Bullets stitch the wind. They make small, terrible singers in the air. A man beside you goes down. You're not sure if he fell or if the mud took him. The first bayonet flash makes your insides fold. You keep moving because movement is survival. An officer runs ahead, arm raised, yelling for pace and telling you nothing anyone can hear. A shell bursts near you. Dirt showers your face with grit. You taste it and feel it like a memory of being small and punished. You reach the enemy trench. Men are on the parapet, level 5. By midday, the sky is an exhausted smear. The ridge is full of smoke and bodies. Wounded men lie like discarded coats. Stretcher bearers move with a choreography of terrible calm. You pass a young lad, barely 20, cradling his arm where bone should have been. His fingers are blue around a packet of letters. He thrusts them at you, voice thin. "Tell my girl." You take them. You cannot promise anything. You keep the letters pressed to your chest like a talisman. Rats run over boots and bodies alike. They are fearless because they have learned who will not move again. You drink from muddy water cupped in your hands. It tastes of iron and the smell of earth after rain. You are exhausted in a way sleep will not fix. Your limbs are ropes. Your eyes water unbidden. A shell explodes near a burial pit and sends a spray of clay. You bury the dead with the same hands that loaded your rifle. You hum another tune so the silence doesn't swallow you whole. A comrade sits, head in hands, shaking. You slap his shoulder until he looks at you. He tells a joke. You laugh because you cannot be a man made of only sorrow. Level 6. Afternoon is a long lowering of light. The next barrage is closer now. You find shelter in a collapsed dugout. Inside, men are bandaging, praying, swearing low. A stretcher bearer brings a moaning man who will not stop singing. The songs are old and soft as a mother's voice. A chaplain moves among you with unsteady steps, offering quiet words. You take a swig from a hip flask, passed along like contraband comfort. It burns the throat and makes your knees lighter for a moment. You think of home and then push it away because sentiment is a soft place the world will chew through. A new fear arrives, the whisper of German voices that sound too close. Dogs bark in the distance, or perhaps it's just the wind. And then the smell, clear and bright, like wet bleach, gas again. This time the cloud rolls in faster. Someone shouts, "Put on your masks!" Hands fumble with straps as if method can be hurried. You slap your respirator into place. The world becomes muffled, distant. You cough and taste lungs scraping. Your head swims. Some men do not make it. Their lungs fill and they become small and strange. You feel grief like a physical weight. You dig your nails into the wood of the dugout to keep from screaming. The shells come in pairs now, slamming into the earth like a giant's fists. The day folds into itself in a cycle of noise and small mercies. Level 7. Late afternoon, and you still stand. You have blood on your sleeve. It may be yours, it may not. The sun slants through the smoke and paints everything the color of old coins. An orderly brings rations, bread in a cold stew half full of gristle. You eat mechanically. A friend cracks a joke about tomorrow's leave, and you laugh until you almost cry. Letters are opened, smiles for a moment. A boy reads aloud a line from a sister's letter, and the sound is a private thing that keeps you warm. Someone offers you a chewing tobacco plug. It is small, obscene, and perfect. You chew and let the bitter hide the taste of iron in your mouth. A medic looks at a wound and shakes his head. You see the tired knowledge in his eyes, the ledger of hurt. You are tired under the tiredness. Sleep tugs, a dangerous promise. You look at the horizon. It is a thin strip of lighter gray. You think of the day repeating. You wonder which of you will last until dawn. Night falls like a curtain of wet cloth. The day's chaos thins to a sullen murmur. You lean against a sandbag and close your eyes for a breath that becomes a long inhale. Stars are cold pinpricks behind cloud. You can hear the distant crash of artillery like a monstrous tide. Footsteps pass, soft, careful. A voice calls someone by name, and the sound splinters you open. You pull out the letters and read them by the dim light of a match. You run your finger across a child's handwriting. You trace the loop of an E as if it could stitch you back into the world you lost. The mud clings to everything. Boots, hands, conscience. Rats scuttle across your pack. You let them. They are small survivors. You wash your face with cold water, the sting like truth. You feel every ache, knees, elbows, the place in your chest where fear has settled like a stone. Someone hums the hymn again. You sing with them in a voice that is half apology, half defiance. You think about the men who didn't get to stand here at night. You think about the ones who did, bruised, breathing, filthy, alive. You cannot imagine what tomorrow will bring. You do not know if this will be your last night. The question lays on your tongue like a bitter pill. You put it away carefully. You fold it into the same small pocket that holds the letters. You whisper to the dark, maybe, maybe not. The line between hope and fear is as thin as a blade. You sleep with your rifle within reach and the night keeping watch. Somewhere a bell tolls in the distance, counting perhaps, or just keeping time. You try to tell yourself you will see another dawn, but part of you knows the ledger is heavy. You hold the letter to your chest once more. You breathe. You listen to the trench breathe back. Thunder rolls far away. You imagine a farm beyond the horizon, a simple door, a woman waiting, a child on the step. You cannot be certain any of that exists anymore. You can only be certain of the mud, the men, and the small, stubborn courage that keeps you upright. Night closes. You wait. You do not sleep fully. You do not know if tomorrow will be your last day.